before ye person utwa ho funi kakra na obi a onte ase what it means reparations in connection with our slavery and colonialism no obetwa ho funi kakra kire na fe yakọ nkomoni mu ankasa
medasi but you can reparations there ni na obi anim say empata okay. Na nipa ba na pata no obi odi bem one so otua empata obi odi efo nti wo hwe nkomo aye di kamia say ne kura say toso ni na free ati baby obi ya ne say so tu fa kunasa so that is kwamboni biya so no besesa deep ha sometimes as young as 15 na se bia we yakwala ketwa na se ohun ofa onsa kwala bia ohun na hunsa ne ho ofa pa 4 years 5 years se na de wo call as a pet na de wo call human being no na de wo eko nti wo hwa 350 years ni awo mo de eye no Emma young crop no from the age of 15 up to about 38. Nanka umuwa huwaden betimi aye ejuma 350 years. The whole of the African continent ne biniha ye pia wo munyina ko unyini ya ne de eko 350 years enya de kituo
enye easy
won se wafu dwene kura no age nya sure what 50 years
there be mean 50
aha wunyandruye na se a period of 350 years. Nkrofo anka enyina beduru tisawo no matera wa ba beduru same ebi eniwa wan mo na kai omu kai na the survival of the weakest see ya hwe na wunya lucky na ma me wo na we yarefo a see ya de wo kwa enyeye we ejimi bia de wo kwa enyeye na mo wo abetire de wo ye adwuma eyeye a say ya de wo eko women millions died because omunye anwadeni bia na your friend is saying 1 woman is to 3 men so it yes and you do obukwa so the meaning was that in Africa emabe bebu so a omunya mema ni wo monante unless wo koton wo ho na wapa be ma che so no wonder otherwise mfaso bi ni wo so wo wiase na over there maka krebi na bema in their millions so you could imagine what they did to us ebia eya yoro ho pa ye pa ni se te sanko ba besi atiwe no a won ma 4 or 5 ewo ho no obi boss o me to akwala we e de na ko New Jersey obi so boss me to we de na ko Mississippi me na che say ye nkraman endisa but above all this what was important and then say they had Africans black people say eye adwuma ede emawo no mun so enya tia ade nti eboa ma within a short period of time omukwa ni mu pa imagine say adwuma ade bia me because of various FM and TV stations me wi amakodem court them and yes nka minyai bibia na nka menhye dem na adwena wo mtementwe obusa saka manti bia metuma produce book na nam se wo ye adwuma ni nti wontumi nya wo de na wo pese wo ye no ti abrofo ni nya lucky say ni omo pese wo mo ye no omo timi here because we were working for them not to be paid we just instruct nti wo ni say bosumu we adwuma obeye ni obeya na underground so wa Britain per underground you went with system yeah na nanu ma ho odin na any America na be super power no yeah ho odin wow yeah ho odin enti samre do say here reparations and answer empata obi obeka say yem fata bia no nim ebibifo abakosem
na kan bia bibisa enti ye fata say yetumi kase ehia Africa especially Ghana. You deserve say because here some party at this moment in time.
Certainly, here omuna ama ya omuna ena omuna ama your political system no kra asay a divide. When me say me I was almost born and brought up in the Ashanti region. Say when suya de nrechiri na wotena Asante who say we asimi nyina nipa bone pa ne Kwame Nkrumah. Say indoctrination. Broni ni ma hu se bibini bia o wa dwene ni mi nyansa oboa ni kromfo. Yeah. It is any panel CC factories in Mawa. It means you won't depend on European goods. You won't depend on American goods. Nti esa broni ne ka kire yen say nipa no nipa bone. No broni pe obi a enka jute factory na wo Kumasi akwa Nkrumah man no. You closing it down. A country which is the second leading producer of cocoa in the world. Then the jute factory that produces the cocoa sacks, you close it down and then you import jute bags from India and Bangladesh. That is what the white man wants. So that you always depend on them. You can't depend on yourself. So what I say, no, be so because so far who dare no cry a Jane and Tamdodo. Now we can't TV station. You know, they said that in a certain region. Come at here to somebody came to your country in 1483 to build the Elmina Castle. And what you will Nipani with Japadian will be from 1480 to 1957, when you're independent. He didn't build one factory for you. Because the moment he builds a factory for you, it would affect his factory. And you say, you will Nipani with Japadia. No, be a Jefa, who dear amount. SCC factory so a woman. So say, I can't or prepare dear to recover renting a year break. Yeah, I have brought for 9.3 years. To say, look at what they did to Ashanti. They destroyed Ashanti kingdom completely. And then somebody comes to drive away the white man for you. Then the Ashanti man thinks that Kwame Nkrumah was a very bad man. And now, brony, and tis a whooper, ne your who's a wide dream, papa be to some Nkrumah, then to say Sankara, to say Lumumba, to say Gaddafi, to say young man here was sorrow Burkina Traore. They will give you all sorts of names so that your people will destroy you, and they will aid your people to destroy because they don't do it direct like the slavery. They won't go out to chase the slaves. They are just a handful of them in the forts and castles along the coast. But they know how to lure you so that you go and capture this man and then give them that person to them. It African leader papa. They use his own people to destroy him. Then I first say what's that new Kotoka International Airport. There were 15 were Ghana and Kenya. And no mind to say Ghana, what you Delta Baha, Emirates, Lufthansa, British Air, France. Bibia baha befe nipa edeko. Wuni aeroplane ba kokora. Nti anya wani wu. But wo ye broni no ko so kwaji loan say wo yes you continue to depend on us. And the market is so better. Until that is the reason for the payment of reparations. You colonize your agent. And na ye amount loaner. Ombema wo loaner. Wo di tua workers ka. Like all the loans that were contracted in the past 8 or 9 years were just to support the balance of payment deficit. Now, could you loan say, to be airport for the second leading producer of cocoa in the world, you know, cocoa is bulky, timber is bulky, manganese is bulky, bauxite bulky, and you don't have a single ship. Black Star Line has collapsed. So what they would encourage you to do is put money in the hands of the politicians. And this year, $100 million na they buy export to cocoa aqua a bruchera. The politician is happy, say $10 million baba be going bottom. They the brony shape about befako. And this politician what say young rather mom. And then young use 200 million and deposit for the construction of 2 or 3 ships. Na no one agreement say your best outreach within 10 years you bet yes yes a politician on your papa because we sit on pesca in the bottom and term. So you see the way we are. And it is a government biba just as Nkrumah said when he was overthrown say Ghana for per milk and onion he could have connected milk in a pipe to everybody's household. You understand? It was a big proverb. Say you too na ya town ni bibia ya say ni akenina. Now, if you had Ghana's own company like Ghana Telecom, the same people are working there, nothing has changed, but you've given the ownership to the white man. It became Vodafone, now it is Telecom. So the money goes to the white man. When in fact, the company is on your own land, it was built by your own first president, your own resources, you've trained people who go to universities to mine, but the profit goes to some other place. That is colonialism in the worst form. which Nkrumah referred to as neo-colonialism, a new form of colonialism worse than even slavery, because you sold your whole mentality to them, whole mentality, and it's going on. They will say, be believing on you, they pay you very high so that they deny your country. Unless say there was that sacrifice, and it is not easy to get that because on $10 million every month they go to the bottom and compare. That is what is going on.
The lawyer now what you mean say be a chemo your man penny or UN assembly ko ka assembly or can your baby now ka say the payment is overdue. Now can your man would be a born chidom, you could see say those who were involved in slavery not omweni anje maybe say bisa akwan be so na yen as a bibi my betimi a demand reparation and compensation na countries by specifically are responsible to make this payment.
Yang a bibi mine yang right to say ye de oshe ebeto won so muntua compensation no emaye. You see yeah ye need to me yewo at times yeah na ye need to me yewo it is sabi oba ni bema eti na bema no kwani na ma na waba beta ni opebia no de oba no until the woman realizes to say okay mate me ba beda me pa jeans bi na me hye what you say e bedroom me wo say papa no oba de obobu nkotodwa pachew na mo one realizes say sa wo to me bi anyame de che wo say wutumi edi adwuma eboa na you always think you are weaker and that you use just like that enti sanka bi before nyina ehunu say ye ha na omufa diamond omufa gold a bulk of the oil your friend is saying name them the papa bia enti ye make sure say ye nton ye bibia ma da na e ho na ye nton emfa ma obi na nyame protect na ye didi 3 times a day, then you can equally bargain. Now your mind is a Ghana now oil. Now is it 20 President Kofi agreement on you ekwaye. When our oil na nyame di acha no your net income for the year no is just about 8%. Now Bronino Babe today amount na dia no about 92%. Now na we jai wa dia ma nensha ho. On the other hand, are they the only people in the world? We have the Western world. Without us, they can never survive. And then we have the Eastern world. China for our first slaves were Oman build the colonies, and they are okay. Russia for our first colonies were and Omo am fire nipa bakumpu. And Omo ma hasu mesre bibiada. And Omo fa raw material bianso in free Africa. But they are superpower. Intelligent from where move where you be. Why don't you learn from them? Do you know, say, Accra or baby of an atomic?
Yes.
Away.
Hachusairo.
Kwabinya. Very good. What do you mean of an atomic? Because in the 50s, 40s, 50s, and 60s, the nuclear weapons near an atomic bomb. So in Nkrumah time, we were building nuclear weapons here. That's what we were going to build. In Tinkananke by now, no, yane bruni biape. In
terms of weapons and ammunition.
That's why they started it. So when he was removed, our own leaders, Afrifa and Kotoka, packed everything and sent to America. And it was Russia for the ACMI. Because Russia for what I said, they don't need Africans for anything. It is so mobile free.
Yeah.
And now European and Americans so say free to one almost depleting one resources biya. Into without a baby man, woman to mean survival. Until I said the biya ya shot ye muse. Could 2 years or 1 year Kakabia said by IMF loan. Because I know a card the way him now no be namnase a card then and the political parties being so a baby mem including Ghana. Would the Russia and Yakra, Oko China and Yakra. Oko America there, no be sound who say countries say dear America chia best in the den umunya. Yanya politics were be sound who said the past 8 years government no dear America chinwa factory back background to me CDC ho because they know at the back of their minds the moment they help you to become like them, they will be your slaves. What I say? And China and Russia, I'm not campaigning for them, but that is what is on the ground. You can't be like them, or when you become like them, they don't care because they don't depend on you. What is a Russia for BB or Ghana? So I'm more that woman here, she Cocoa Crown to be ha. Or maybe would be and found because it's the biggest country in the world, they have their resources. And then Europeans feel say that dependency, no, that BS, or otherwise, Omube collapse. And if you are asking this question, the answer is that we deserve reparations and we have to demand it. Sanya President Mahama Kwakano UN no. Na means bia ye be yusu, including say be cry UN meetings across so my young call America for bibia nanka ye nim how to do sit down strike. Omu bibia ye support you because of what they do to us. And that also comes only when the continent is united.
So we all come to one understanding.
United.
Bebree so after all these our Kenya no. Bebree so school of thought business say I don't know is it on moral grounds or by law? Why lawyer idea? Reparations, compensations are demanding African and be demanding. Is it based on law? And I said the moral part no say
it starts from morality to law. Morality that abuse of human rights. The worst form of human rights abuse. Internal number one. Then when it comes to law, at the international law, at the international level, we don't really have what you call law, but what you call legitimacy. Is it really legitimate for us to demand? Yes. Now, what makes it difficult is that those responsible, America, Spain, Portugal, Holland, Germany, Britain, and France, as in America, no man said but they made use of young Crawford. They bought the slaves there. Directly. Now they have not admitted liability. They don't want to accept, because to accept liability means you are also accepting responsibility. So I say, court and that's how some municipal na dey minsibium obon say dey wura be gina court dem was say wanyim near the police fa akofa abrantie bi aba say yes wona we here ne papa say wona we responsible na dey be wo magistrate court yesusa no the moment wo be dia to me say wo hu ne pen no na just automatically no yes and then responsibility wo dey enti obon say be mani gina wa wo hu na say what can say one and say you the moment you be say you no all other things no I don't know my bro for Israel so be say you wo mu anti say you press na yanso ye lobby because bibia lobby
okay
broni ya na de lobby yen nti ne amemi kan ya me ba me president Nkrumah no ye obi so ohwa me o ka say ne ameka ne ye nkwase asem because so lobby hu say leaders at Nkrumah nyina omo nya papa it was their lobbying. What you say na ko maybe to say Ivory Coast na president bi tira so okwa election 4 abra constitution started say 2 all because omo japade bi akọ France into France will make sure you stay there. So what you say and ba ku your Cameroon Paul Biya wadi 93 and 94 obekwa
na nanti crying
oh sabe otumi egunsio our public now wonim baby but for as long as he is there it helps certain ministers to continue in place, certain directors to continue in place, certain judges to continue and the whole system to be in place. When you move him out, it will disorganize the system. So let him be there so that we can rape the nation. That is what Europe is still doing to Africa. Ivory Coast should have been the richest country in Africa. What will be an African country? What we say almost stadium? You are in entertainment. Also, no case it was built by so company in France. And what you are why you buy yourself I say in Ghana? There be on your French government there. Almost sika almost near French 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 sika and ya toma ho. It is sikana wukutana and ya would the woman in the child. It is sika bia ya print ma obi I will scare wutu omo airport na nya wo dia omo invest in nya wo dia the presidential mansion no enya wo dia enya wo dia. Now with all this they have been able to lobby so well say still Ivorian be back Ghana na Nigeria office or papa senior when we enter office or papa senior very good brony on Jimmy sa entirely very cheap pa Ghana two aduane cheap pa sene Ghana ensa cheap pa esene Ghana nti se nipa eti wiase no nya aduane di cheap onyansanom cheap enyantare cheap when the next one ever been it sex
because ombre na was spend it
ko pa ba Ghana ha bra obetwa kwan sa na mo to nya kasa fami piepe wewu na omo no country no
oba so bi bedi na chi aba
record obi akodi na chi yeso ko Sierra Leone de akopa bi wo Sierra Leone anu de onesa no oba o ma me no papa nyina
aka ho
na se wonya abrofo na make sure say incentives we ye de amawa oho to wo woman mu e de na obe free woman to variance ntu kwan anti say ya ha na kotoka international obe do busy wo no oba potli ehwe o to kwan kwa de o kon so a France ye many ticket ko France no waba ya ma ne nko Britain or America who send their life it until fee say ya kachi until the civil war came na mu big chane ba Ghana now for the first time omubawura western region no mbe hu takrade huge mansions omo fee say more bi nego that's what they teach them mbe hu takrade and they say wunya nkokuma simple no abatama no abepie Accra that's the way they train to almost so a lobby so we should also be able to lobby and then we should also be able to sacrifice I read a story just yesterday about how the first president of Mauritania, President Moutar Oudada, and President Mobutu Sese Seko, visited in Mauritania. No share the dress and no nature say as a president. Until share that tape and say $5 million. This for you. No, some man who notice say our company tell us be of France, omo mano state of the art suit near inti. Omshena no dress with the no dana say. Na president no Mauritanian president who say sika bebrebe we need an advanced teacher training college. So immediately he referred the money to the Minister for Finance. No more pass I say heavy. We see teacher training college come up, advanced one. Then several years later, accidentally he met President Sese Seko again, who had visited a different country. No, so Papa Yebi Amrebi, I want you to spend a few hours in my country. So Odu Airport to Hono. I didn't notice his abo. Thank you, Sese Seko Mobutu. Thank you, sir. He didn't understand. No, I didn't go school. I said, when I was in school, no. I not say how. No, so one guy with 5 million. Not say it was meant for you. No, say no. At the end of the month, and this is where the philosophy is, I am paid as a president. I wouldn't have had that money. Yes, to receive that money.
Yeah.
The money you gave me because I was a president, not because I was working in the street.
True.
So the money was for the people of Mauritania. And they desperately needed an advanced teacher training college. That's why I used it for it. And that is why you see notices everywhere, school children saying thank you. And Embradu said before you to me sacrificing. The sacrifice, I wouldn't share now my air call. Do you know that all the money Nkrumah had at the time he was dying was less than $200? Yes, and you also knew that his eldest son, Professor Francis Okwa, had to pay the school fees of the other children he left. And also every vacation, they also had to travel to London to clean hotels before they could get money. Why? Because their father wouldn't steal money to put up houses in East Legon. No, be by MP 2-3 days. What should she be? Just say East Legon. I don't know what's about. Wabra Prime Minister of the Second Republic, Professor K.A. Buzia. Ne die wo odoko ha say. Odoko. And na ne die ewo. Nti ya ene ya ne say ya te say ne bibini hu broni no hu ne bia wo fi say he's better than you and he has more than you. Sanso na hu obi or MP or minister or party chairman bia. Wadwuna ne say ukokosire ni ska. Ya dwen ano no. Ana ukopɛ adwuma. Nti hwe adwuma ye pɛ all the civil service, military, police, customs, fire service, prisons, and obi a person ne back. What about the production?
They are great.
The production, that great canoa. Ebema wo country enya ono wan aduane. What could you happen?
Ejura debi.
Unko Kranzada, Unko Techimanda, Unko Kentampoda, Tamale, and then the entire voter region land that was so I am my bet to be there more by year, be beer, you live it, and everybody wants to be in the police service or Ghana army or whatever. Whatever where we are producing, and after producing, you add value to it. Where the factories will come in, then you market it outside. Oh, West Africa, Nigeria is a very big market. They are getting to 200 million. Then I would they call yento.
Problem, big problem. I'm say be brave. No, Abraham your bank now be a friend cashew nuts from BA. It was a big deal, but the problem is that the export, yes, and the bills now quite say big $1 big. The question was, why can't we refine it? Why can't we
you process it here?
Process it before we export it? Send a bit to me more, foreign direct investment beba. And a lawyer can want say. But it be so say a coin ben so and I say on mine ben we are say and a good example for the call for reparations are esi ho amaye hu results na Ghana bit me asuan film na nkoye lip say like just a lip service ye canon ne president ha kan wa ha yenso ye kan wa na nkoye just a lip service, but we are taking actions nti oman be na e bi akoso sa
last week me kan say Jew for no so they killed them in their millions. They lost 6 million Jews in the Second World War. Until they created big funds, Jewish funds. Until ama Jew for billionaires in America. Into say binasa yenso yasha so say if in a period of 6 years and amukum nipa 6 million and ye create a fund and the amount. In 350 years. Nipa omo Elusu one kwan is about 45 million. I know say omoboa it can even be about 100 million or more. Then yenye free. So you get that. Then at the international level, try to win the support of all the countries that did not participate in slavery, and then they will likely be on your side. UN, Security Council, veto power countries. China and Russia did not participate in slavery. So they will easily be on your side.
And they are powerful too.
And they are very, very powerful. They will easily be on your side. Very, very easily. Until when you take it from that angle. Now, Norway, Sweden, Denmark, all the Western countries, I don't think they are your friends. And the Beyonce, your wife say, oh, dear. And because all the whole about Russia, they're not being. Why do you think you have to go there to work? Why don't you ask them to bring you machines to set up your own factories here? Yeah, yonku you're down for we invest, say be a lawyer, say be a doctor, say how different are they from you?
From you.
What have they achieved? I'm sorry to say this, but that's the truth. Because a dime pepper what Ghana in we say 90%. Omo ati sa wonim fifire han. And a 1 day. And a second hand normal omo de be nyina. Enya omo an sign better. At least you got people here to buy. However poor they might be, they still buy what you bring. Come be a tonton second hand cars. Why they be fair bridge about second hand car? So the people here, they make it and they buy. So why don't we all stay here? All their major industries. Who Africans and your friends say institutions. Africans are a number 1 heart surgeon. America. And your friend space and you cry. Who Ghana new no other than surgery no money in ano. Your governments and help na young repatriate womu ember and then they have the same facilities to work. Obaba oya na agent so ba ye be frustrating no ko. Bia Kolebu teaching hospital machine ketuwe bi e de be ye adwuman kra ye ni bi nurse ni bi o say Kolebu obi bo no asem we si be 3-4 months ago
Rage Hospital Regional Hospital.
Can you believe it? Rage Hospital was finished only a few years ago, so it's a very, very modern hospital. The report of the committee delayed, and it was stated that the reason why it delayed was that they didn't have the scanners and other things to scan the woman to know whether
the injuries
was true,
yes,
and then the effect of it, and then the depth of it. They had to go elsewhere. That's why it delayed. So was it not a shame upon the whole country?
Such a modern hospital.
Yeah.
And about 5 months ago, a whole medical doctor, Ewu Okumasi, all because of a particular machine anywhere. So we kotobia ba $100,000. Now, hospital in Nibi. Now, doctor Ewu na patients is in there.
Anyway, baby, yeah, working. It brings to my mind slave trade. Every bank, no more decide they say, okay, I feel yeah, ma, yeah, let's bring an end to slave trade. And so many yawo. Yes.
Very good. Around 1807, 1808, 1809, Britain banned it. And no, a year, a month will be a more fighting. Yeah. For example, there was a famous case in Britain. This gentleman, a young man called John Somerset, oh yes, slave Johnny free in a master house, and he chain and then buy, and a case in the Cocopier court. Say they felt he was an animal. It's a strayed animal. See a chain go back, and I know the onye animal. Until had no kojina court, so yeah animal, and then Lord Mansfield, a famous Chief Justice in Britain, a release all Baba started a no say if you see John Somerset so ya boa there, and not the only adibia friend human rights. No more any part than he has human rights, and that will include his liberty. And no ruling said he had the right to live as a human being. So he started changing things. But you know what happened was that it took Britain almost 100 years to finish. To finish paying compensation, reparations to the slave owners. And 2% we die with slavery. You were huge sum of money. Government, the amount. And the question is, the black people need only to actually amount. And you because they were losing. And what we say, scour a Ibiano, a Barclays Biano, so a slave bank. Slave owners, they came together to build that bank. Nti Barclays be a black man how do you see cartoon and yourself an absa say and now we support Liverpool biano you also have a problem a slave owners and a say team no nti abobo no mu go na no mu ani age no mu sere nti well me wa Britain na me team am pen no until I read the history it won't say that's the genesis of it nti this was what they did to us and then after it ended in Britain for other European countries, especially Holland. It was about 1836 grandson Umujai. And in America, no, it was after 1841 and son and also Omu Ejai Eche. Now the effect as you are asking, no, and it it created a lot of unemployment for black people over there. Say we say open far and here will be so it pushed a lot of blacks into the entertainment field and boxing, those things. And he pushed them blacks and he put them because so we be to survive. And your friend is saying, "Homo be citizens." No, I did be at once who have seen them conform for Homo adjoining cohort. Do you know, sir? Americans, especially, Homo take blacks pa. Do you know why I come blacks?
Random.
Because the black man is a citizen there. Nti omo mpa wasema ye deport wenye so they will kill you. No mom African blacks no to say Ghanaians, Nigerians no yenkuwa. Do you know the reason?
So they can tell Omwichi
you better to deport you.
Yeah.
You better know nipa no you no citizen once na obeche no de no kwen. One penance you just finish him. And consistently they've been killing our people sa. Nti effect na okay bin so ni say omo beto asase wa nti omo aye hia won ye pia omo nyina de omo bai nti one of such countries no Sierra Leone means the Lion Mountains, yeah. And then their capital, as you know, Freetown.
Yeah.
And you say for free slaves. And the second capital, Wilberforce. William Wilberforce was a famous anti-slave campaigner. Yeah, the abolitionist kasiya. Yeah, the almost second city noton. Yeah, for more, I think 1797 that way. Yes, 1792. And this country, so Liberia, as the name says, Liberty area. The Omo capital, no, Monrovia, named after the American president J.J. Monroe. So, when we are young, we are pion by now, Accra, baby, a funny Tabon. Tabon people almost say Brazilian slaves. I do Omuba, a bibi memuha, a say. Nanini nechino. A bibi before na car, what to say, Americano. Ya ma womu kwa momo and ya part of their political system until 1965, owing to the work of people like Malcolm X and then Martin Luther King, all because they also came here when Ghana was having its independence inauguration. Until when Nkrumah mentioned this, the black man is capable of managing his own affairs. You know, when you read, they started crying. It said, can black people manage our own affairs? The reason is very simple. Yeah, the Liberia, for America, they passed as 1822, you do Mubegu. And America is considered as one of its own states.
Yeah.
Inti Afibiano, you bro, omo budget free US neighbor. And the Juma Kakrebia baby and you more one bag in addition to with salary. When me say almost 1 year, you say just waiting for
the salary.
Sikana beba. Oh, sound you yet be a teacher anyway and nurse. Na farming and the others because you'll be on a coast school. And the on yet because the sister be beji benya more one bag. Kasia pa America the enemy. Who be the another man to baba to tell them I say be a Juma. So Liberia became a very hopeless country. Until 1847, our Burfundy independence, still very hopeless and backward. Once I Brunino, I discovered Brain. Bruni discovered Brain. Until it took more than 100 years. Our Ghana J independence. Then Nkrumah having in mind and in Guasia Liberia de Eguyen said the first black state, black people managing their own affairs. Bruni na just say or the Sikani and more different abel. So that was what Nkrumah. That we are very capable of managing our own affairs. And a tall other before assume say CG ye fa hudie na sa Liberia is not a good example for us. Ni ebe to manage. Now that time no Martin Luther King is na outro notes from Nkrumah's speech. Until free one or come out that famous speech, you know, say I have a dream. Until you read the full text of I have a dream, you know. Now read the Kwame Nkrumah's independence speech. And until Obama or be first president of America, Obama. So Ghana is Africa's political mecca. Obama because you see a bit to manage you. Near to manage to the extent to say Bronier to me, you Kofi Annan as UN Secretary General. Bronier to me, to Abadi Obama as the President of America. Yes, sorry, US President. Edena, Ombaha, no, so baptizing who your system in the Muhesi.
Oh, yeah. That's good. The result of it is good. Malcolm X, Martin Luther King. So they see how we share American democratic system now. A lot of black mayors, and it's amazing how they are springing up and taking over.
Millionaires,
and a lot of them have become millionaires, especially in Atlanta. You know, a lot of rich people owning properties, going into politics, all by what lawyer is saying. And but lawyer say a say reparations and as empatano. Africa or a court to be internationally a bit to me ako appealina omo a supporting legally to be able to demand all these empatai.
And not there any work reason is that international courts now only deal with current human rights abuses.
Okay.
Here you are talking about past. Nipa no cry ye chain no coin. You don't know say okra wona na ye de nika ho anim. Mesumi nim say me na be your ka obi e nim. Utiase nti the courts there no are not structured to take care of normal way. But ye na say yetumi ye united because ye united it may not necessarily be say yen dissolve your borders near me one country. I'm only talking about united in ideas. So called Europe. EU, European Union, and in NATO. They are wide apart, but they are united against Russia.
True.
Until a woman has a memeteha, no bitter South Africa. Say your ideas, no, bringing to me CCA. Bringing to me CCA. Now, whereby to say Ghana and the Ivory Coast and Liberia. Look, near Canada, and the way I other people now I want to know. Me call Liberia as a delegate. I make a idea. No more share me nanti and me dress in me baby. Omu who is a me Liberian. But one no more friend me dem call baby. Some me for me sike kutami nina Emma wo. Na me ye me passport ade echiro. They were just going to destroy the passport. Na me who customs officer dressed like other customs or fire service na me stop o car no your back. And oba no so what is the problem? And oje ma de e ma me a ye de metina ka me koi. Na no because I was a lawyer. Na fane say ordinary Ghanaians no. When no ma ye de ye wo. West Africa he ya o. West Africa he ya. She say Ivorian trucks eba. Elo do omo cars sa. Say yan ye kwan. I kind of one can bibia Burkina baby ya. Because yan ye wa bad bi so omo ye nua. Omo ti say they don't treat us the same way. Inti pass obenya bi before say ya adwene ebe ye baako no. Edin. Because of Niabrofo na so ha. Even in Ghana. Sabi so be your Kenya, se be a wo ni ma mama na kana, I'm telling you the truth. Obi o your Kenya be omu ada tribe omu ni so ye nipa o. Be a no be to me kantina lawyer na cheka mebo a. Oh dear. Wo we need to say Isa because so everything is so the moment we meet when you say we when you so abandon no nipa. Even if you are the president, once you are not an Akano, not because indeed he's better than you, but because white man no for 350 years or they are sharing it when you say no ma we din be no what be their toes say any one office obeku we yes obey you say what I send your one man no na say me ni wonye nipa we mo agimi wachimi batakari no mo iron masa look at the technology na bisa ho say ye nananu ye kente I don't know for how long ansana yentumi yusu kente ni manenda na atare and ono ne de no when our people in those days were going to war masa want to me front to man call war wo betimi ayo you know batakari na de ko eko and batakari abeye state dress what to me the coach what to me the tena plane one will be a plane ofra entoma that intina wadwe you say nipa no wagimi the small free education and kroma de ma o produce army generals police IGP Bank of Ghana and that president kroma you be now what you always independent all because broni na kachero na nipa no wa hwene sa wa ni sa wo bibia sa wo oye wo nia and we all sat in the same classroom bebredi and so first now what that so was our mentality nti won say ya yare no asoyie nti me madwene am say before so obekwa kwata ka broni say wo pay reparation it should start from here
from us
from here
start from us
oben wo nua so te sa wa nyame bomu mienu tuntum perfect kama
na reparations mpate say nyame boa na say etumi pre na ebi ba hwan na ese kono ho aban ana community no
Mr. reparations in one so broni discover bi ba on hweye no amfa nche bibini president bi ansem
me da say
because they wo mu ye nyina chi ne se nyame boa and reparations wo mu say anya millions or billions or be trillions no mu de be 500 years na di betua nti nka be me ye nyina ye jai ye dwuma ye ni adwan ne MPP and NDC because anya bia once in every 8 years no ma be sesa sansesa 2028 o acha 2032 ebe final what bana yenya bibia ye ina but to be more serious bibini die enam say yenya repent ye na ye no ye hu ye mono meme nim say nka president Mahama ne okoye anihwe na bia onsenya adwene bi say what about the sugar factory at Commander what about the jute factory what about starting a whole farm a rice farm in the Volta region be feed Africa
tomato factory
to Techimani when me say onion ankase na ye different Burkina Faso eban omo we say Asante Achim district in Ghana would you be
yeah
and a wheat ukokumawu area ni hina would you wheat ebeye Russia Ukraine war started na say flood no bo across the whole world so Ghana you do wheat ebeye nti saa nneɛma ni bi na nka aborɔfo no not in terms of money but in terms of machines and technology transfer and then infrastructure fine schools under trees omo amama omo yɛmfa sika nhyɛ obi ansɛ community no communal labor every weekend mu si school no omo no cement no we ni yɛtuaka from source near now the moment I would be share be no MPP chairman and NDC chairman
party boys
that's a NCPP for to be more serious, this is a very big question, a very beautiful question. I don't think say Bibinian first can share nisem. Now it should be in kind and be a education, you know, like to send a Russia for and mass near the Womukwa bridge. So munkosua adie bi adie be kunkum yen bebrebe COVID-19 na say nya scholarship ankofo ko western countries kosua ho ade Ghana before the malaria na ekunya chain bibia omukosua ho nimde cancer ye ba omun sanmra ebe ye adwuma hospitals na ye man no ko nanim. That should be the form it should take, say in kind, but cash pad and they will regret.
But when you say mobile and so must say a good year be more. I know some time ago the UK returned some a good year no so is it long overdue said they will return those ones?
Some no man when we your problem in say to say Asante for the year working. When we say the president of Ghana then when I say so your chini na Asante you know see Asante yene or Asante I say mfa African governments no your normal bebree ya omode ye ya emfa government no ho wakwan bia so because enka no well enka no nti emfa no na your friend say wahu say Asante for golden stool ane de wa ha na saa da you know normal almost sade koye no omo kran omo we e de koye no na nka say bi kra country bi te say Nigeria, Burkina Faso, Mali and the government of Ghana abom say e ko fight aji. But your problem is you to me come bomb in your bibia if you see a feast and assign your dear. I remember say your chichi in Nigeria, girls, school girls baby ya Boko Haram for chicha. I'm sure you heard that story some 10 years or so ago. Me now for 4 Nigerians. Young Ghana for everything what a year yano. Which was say, but that happened in a not now. Because I know you're not and Nasas. Which but those people they are Muslims now. Say before life no nti say ya dey many nyina sorry say Benin bronze Nigeria for the kingdom of Benin abrofo say one bronze nyina de koy Africa AU aliste sa no many nyina say ba beje ade because ukọ museum bia mu wo Europe ubon say before artifacts bebre ho
display it and make millions
money out of sa no man. And woman a pass a law over it. To say Britain the artifacts kakre de mo tum for ban. Bebre da so ho. When we say omo catch and say by law no British Parliament say bibi anywhere wo museum say to me fi museum hoko that would be illegal. Wo wa be wia obi ade. Then you
and they illegal.
We are here no pass a law on it when it is
to protect yourself.
It is a way. My baby here the free na me deko. Na me duru baby a me won my amra de atose so bi enu obetima beje ade we de free me nsem all because of the power they have got. Until I believe say before nyina should come up with just one voice to demand what we. But again okay no de ade bi so de abametrim and say ukwa bridge museum ho and people travel from other countries to go and then see hwe kwan kra ya faso mpo ka banku kwan faso ya chigari kwan faso fura entuma kwan faso nwene kente kwan faso ya batakari ene no ma ye wa broni hu bi da broni kra body ana kwadu kra so ne banche no ono hu bi da obahu bibia a process koko kra obahu. So why don't you have museums for all this huge museum enter party bia obahu raw friend saying cocoa field kakrabe says cocoa de sisi one kube de si one abe and this one oh je wisika edi ade we na friend this is how it starts na in the end the level say ya antika room say ya and one who pay room say stages. Stage 1, this is the beginning. Hundreds of people trying. Move free hope here no more saying from morning 8 a.m. to evening 5 p.m. Museum there na wa ye no ma wo mu ni bi e wo other place na nti me dey case asante for the issue da ba no ya museum wa Accra na Kumasi na Tamale na ho wudru ho no. This is the golden stool. This is the picture of Konfanochi, the one who brought it. This is the picture of Osetu. Just represent something. That's Yasantua. That is this. That's it. Now, be quiet is a papa before Wukrum. Your friend Raphael Grill Ameto, the first African I nominated for Nobel Prize in Science. So I want in the dinner. That be some school for Unquala by and they actually more idea about ourselves. So Ghana map no kwa Fantini small boy be a fan of Ferguson or no na share Ghana your country we say wa bra Togo for the German for the year, Ivory Coast for the French for the year, Britain for the no million. This guy was so brilliant that he led the team. No what be so say primary school ben kra na dey ato e Ferguson nanka ye wo museum as halfway nyina ben saba omo eyi wo ho Tobesri the second. Unya big award from the British. Yenimu wanti your problem in the say. Wish ya any person be a what you say any pan on nipa. Now your museum be at the school from Kuala Inabe Kwame Nkrumah Museum. Ya was up no money bebre wa ye memu ha. Nko bia be wusa na sa Professor Buziano wa be sawa ya bunindi. So when you see Bono people, you will respect them. Baba wan near the koto Kumasi Baba Yara. So Kitabola edge no so.
Touchline.
Touchline. I know the ball as if he said a magic. I want the namoa into either he would dribble you or Wobabo at the attention. No assign Abba to know their more be near them. Goal Babes here. Naka state in the day a whole stadium Everton. And I didn't know young create a sports museum. Or say coffee. On Kutaba will be into me free. Ni some nya bi ne enra jeje wo coach amone ade no. What Muhammad Polo Dimpe. Nti adentina sa noma way. It doesn't take anything to start your own museum. Brofo so this is dependent. This is your friend say baku yeboa. The goal of the century. Least United. What is it? Nti say your museum a press baby ko gina on screen no eyi sa goal no a ntinka abrofo e mane ya menya ho sikani. We can generate so many things.
Even in the creative space, we have clamored for a lot of support to build a music museum. Here, your legends, Pabobo, A.B. Crenso, why?
When Papa when I started in the world, rap music.
Yeah.
Jeduble Ambule. Yes.
Yeah.
What is it? Pedu. I think it's about second person with the largest number of records. Yes, Nanam Pedu. And the sort of guitar na or nobody in the world need to me bo. That lead guitar no, you need all your concentration there. Until one guitar, they can never be vocalists unless they are backers. This man was the lead vocalist and also the leading guitar player. Young can was a BR and then someone now Okikano. Any
storytelling.
What is it? Yeah. The wisdom in Shobit is a lumbe yo wu nane. I mean, the man was a great philosopher. The only musician in Ghana, even Africa, Nenjomono, Oboni Pebia Dingoma, he describes you fully so that when you hear the music, you can easily go and locate the person.
You know, when he died, Teresa Bebe said they were able to connect to
the house.
Kotoko residents. And those
Teresa Bebe said, Uko Kuma friend say, Kotoko residents, Kumasi Bishen. What you here? Look at that description. Nana Edujemfia, Ofri Jamase Chechire, General Polipo. You see, his nickname is General Polipo, and he's called Nana Edujemfi, and he's from Chechire. And we have plenty Chechire, so he qualified the Chechire, Jamase Chechire. Now, when he talks about a certain Canadian Japan, he said Canadian Japan, Kwawini Bay, Bradford did know about a famous Canadian Japan,
Central region.
I say ni politician obiara dwene be ya ne say one describing here the papa was kadabro no o say da bi nya ono a nti o kan kwa no de kwa uni ba so we have two of them very famous at one on the compound no mebua and to am one who say we na me refer to this is a piece of philosophy me say yeah
we don't have up to today
yes yeah bibia
there's no music library
there's our song blewe
mi aga
masa wo hwa voice a woman that girl no on the 20 years or two sir enwomena anwasi begu but what problem
nothing until then a bit me as African youth nkomo e how impata a bit me turning around near the developing ya baby man you know then a bit me African youth to lead the conversation and not keep the conversation alive say ne be ya the assessor ebeti
very simple education you have to learn to educate yourself
okay
most great people in the world one educate you American President Abraham Lincoln on one educate no my father was a very rich man in Kumasi because of stepmother they wouldn't take care but I knew say me one knowledge to the extent that 1969 election I was born in 64 I was 5 years and I knew all the parties and their names at 5 and then I knew their symbols and I was struggling with big people to pick some of the posters into me who me was and then by the time I got to 10-12 years I knew that almost all the great philosophers and big people like Napoleon Bonaparte, Alexander the Great, whatever. Now me do school them and now I the actual teacher because at that tender age I had read Makers of Civilization and then Landmarks of World History and then a short history of the Gold Coast. Into me who are there way women mono. Now me you been to school fees. School fees in say in our time. I forced and then educated myself. So if you are listening to me, you can't tell me that I'm not to your fees. No. And to do that, I had to do a certain sacrifice. From class 1 up to university, I never knew what was on the woman's body. I never knew it. And I have not lost anything. Because my worry about okuta master's degrees, I never lost anything. So one, we need to educate ourselves. Two, when you're educating yourself, you need to sacrifice. Nandano, education didn't say a time, and the whole world is here.
Yes.
Just Google.
Yeah.
And then there are plenty libraries at your disposal. Yeah. And then when you have inside life and BBI fast. BBI will change. What to BBI will
come back together.
And then we should move away from the system.
Yeah.
Now a DBI can so there be a sana Uber Chroma sana I remember say last 2 weeks or so I went to bury my mother. Now Mr. Mami mentioned in the Munyam Koto Adaka over 30,000 Ghana cedis. And my mentality was very simple. So my men know your dinner drip is in the sun, yes, even 50,000 Ghana cedis and Kamaka Bobosia Aquay. No, who I mean when you be my some discani now, boom. Nami Yana, dear be a chromo, a best standard the test of time. Me de when me saw catch him, said chromo, a ye chiwa dear say Adakano. Park no so when ni Persiano, hundreds of people say you fancy you katasu disi baby. Now the moment you the body no, bekwa no work with yaba near the co. Now me say why? O me say sa near no, me say very good. A decade no boy den way. Me ni pa hwe ni praise ma me no wa wo lawyer no chi no. Me fa nkonkosie na de adwen na wo mutirim. Okay ma me dey ba be see mu wi amombo meka metua. And then I displayed it, and everybody was excited. I'm using this to tell you, say, "Mum yenjai sa near yano." They say yes. Tama Orville and Weber right. 2 American brothers. Omo kache omo papa, and omo mama say, "Yabeye adibi enamsro, no interruption." So nti bema adena call speed, nti be revolutionize transportation. Ne papa omo papa a whole Baptist priest. Kotu Bible de chira won say hwe nyame bo nipa edigu ha sei ana obomu ewiemu enoma edigu ho
enti omo wo ho
nipa ye wa adwen say obedane anoma ehunu ntime na kwala ne say yebe and they knew the risk involved so we are replay that want to men try no ha o say we try no he na mistake ba be dey
obi enyo
mistake ba be dey and they went ahead to do it. That's what you should do. You should take risk to do the right thing. Take risk to love. Yes, where you take risk to love everybody, and then take risk to buy, to steal technology from others. Japan, in order to succeed, they are best scientists, scholars, technology, everything, and no share that. I do want Britain and America, those Western countries, I do want go to say ordinary factory laborers. Sa nti wo mu nim se nipa no akọ school abi no mu wia technology no over the years no mu wia sa omo ba ye omo be try no na enye ye nti ukoto Japanese product enye papa nti product bia that time enye papa no kota e ni jabs want jabs down oh where are jabs the case jabs and just made in Japan enye it didn't end there. They fought now. When it comes to electronics, Japan is the leading.
Even automobile, Toyota.
And automobile, so they are the leading.
Suzuki.
All because they put effort into it, they sacrificed to do it. Here in 1960s, some Chroma to me organized Ghanaian architects, contractors, whatever, build it. A friend is a Kratema motorway at the mount. None wo ba build the road. I go here na Chinese contractor, Brazilian contractor now, original. Because you have collapsed your Ghana Highway Authority State Construction Corporation. Who babesi monument na isa Bruni bi na babesi dima. Wa bra yesi State Housing Company wa Nkrofo Corporation na Nkrofo Suyan school. And now we are finishing saying in Nkrumah they were building our own cars. We had the car called Boafu. Na ya assemble work in the US.
The one that had wooden something on it.
I know actually
that's Bedford.
Yeah, car. So a real car. A real car. And so now, bunch of car they say body one. What a real car there. Until we should you see a catcher who say you bet me I. You better no you technology. Luckily now you don't need to steal because in every European industry beer or blacks war. So you only need to buy them back. Give them the incentives and then they will work for you.
That's it. Fantastic conversation on reparations. Strong education, you know. But lawyer, answer now, Mr. This is a running story. Last week, a